Today, we will be taking a look at my top 5 favourite mangakas. That is, people who create manga. Feel free to leave down in the comment section below who are some of your favourite mangakas. I would love to hear it. Baka, hey, Manga Tuesday. I am the DRC, and this is Manga Tuesday, episode 110. And today, I have already told you what we're going to be doing. And obviously this list will always be changing. This is just the list right now in the present day. A couple years from now, it could be completely different, or it could not. Like, yeah, state the obvious, Darcy, you fucking idiot. Just get to the video. Okay, I'll get to the video, but first we're going to start off with a quick honourable mention. Ding dong! Quick honourable mention, and there is a reason they are an honourable mention and not on the list, and it's not because they weren't good enough to be on the list, it's because of a kind of technicality, so to speak. My honourable mention is Yoru Sumino, who isn't really a mangaka, which is why they're not on this list. I don't think they've written or made any mangas. They write light novels, of which I actually haven't read any of their light novels, but I've read a few of the manga adaptations of her light novels. I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, and I Had That Same Dream Again, are two of her big works that have been turned into mangas, both of which I have read and both of which I quite enjoy very much so. But she didn't turn them into mangas herself, someone else just took them. In fact, both of these are made, the art for both of these is made by the same person, Idumi Kiwihara, so I guess they get a slight honourable mention too. But, you know, the art is great, but it's more the stories that, you know, make these mangas so great. But since they were originally light novels, and I assume Yoru Sumino had nothing to do with turning her own light novels into mangas, I assume, other than the fact that she wrote the original source material. But, you know, I can't say Brett Alice Easterman is my favourite director because I really like the American Psycho movie. He just wrote the stupid book that I refuse to read. What a load of rambling nonsense. The point is, Yoru Sumino is a great storyteller, and I should check out some of her other light novels that haven't been turned into mangas, and I'm sure I'll enjoy them, so I should check some of those out. But she's an honourable mention on my top 5 favourite mangakas. If these were the original works, if she just didn't make light novels, she just made mangas, and these were the originals, then she would definitely be on my top 5 favourites. But that's not the situation, so she's not. But I just thought I would mention her because, based off these adaptations, I really enjoy her writing. Did you get all that? And just very quickly, I'll mention two other very quick honourable mentions. Nakatani Neo and Takaway Inoue, the creators of Bloom Into You and Vagabond. I also considered putting on this list, but for both of them, I've only read the one work, so they're technically for Nakatani Neo. I've also read a short story collection by her, but I just haven't read enough from either of them to put them on this list. I nearly did, even with the one. I've been slowly collecting Slam Dunk, and I intend on reading it hopefully soon. And if I enjoy the Slam Dunk like I think I'm going to enjoy Slam Dunk, you know, it's possible that Takaway Inoue could very well find himself on this list. But for right now, I mean, just Vagabond alone was nearly enough for me to put him on here. But I decided against it, but I just wanted to mention them. Also, Osamu Tezuka, a legend in the manga industry. I fucking love Message to Adolf, and I've read some other stuff, but I haven't read enough of his stuff to put him in my personal top 5 as of yet. Ding dong! At number 5, we have Kaori Ozaki. Works of hers that I have read, The God's Lie, and The Golden Sheep, and The Mermaid Prince short story collection. Other notable works of hers that I have not read include Immortal Rain. I love The God's Lie and The Golden Sheep, and they've got a very similar vibe to them. She's very good at writing these poignant coming-of-age stories. Very emotionally driven stories, and also rather short. I mean, The God's Lie is one singular volume. The Golden Sheep is 3 volumes, but she's still able to craft compelling characters and make you care about them in such a short time. She's someone that I actually, when I read The God's Lie, which was the first work of hers I read, after reading it, I actually went and looked out, specifically seeked out, like, has she written anything else that's been published physically in English? So I very much enjoy her work and her way of telling stories, and I wish there was more of her stories published in English and just in general. She doesn't have a super large discography, but for books, and a lot of her works are on the shorter side, but I don't know, I don't think she's currently releasing anything at the moment, but I look forward to whatever the next thing that she is releasing. I don't know how to verbalize my thoughts, so why make this video, you say? Let's move on to number 4.
Ding dong!
At number 4 we have the person who I believe I've read the most manga from them, at least the most different series from them, and they are renowned as the god of Yuri manga. At number 4 we have Milk Morgiana. That doesn't look right. Milk Morinaga? That sounds a little closer. Works of hers that I've read include the Yuri classic Girlfriends, Secret of the Princess, another Yuri, Hana and Hina After School, another Yuri, and Kisses, Sighs and Cherry Blossom Pink, another Yuri, a bit of a theme there. Some works of hers that I have not read yet include Gakuzu and Police, another Yuri. She writes a lot of Yuris. I think she pretty much, from what I understand, exclusively writes Yuris, and thus she's really nailed the formula. I think that might be her biggest asset, is just she's super solid. Like, I've read 4 different series from her and I enjoy all of them. Like, they're all just she's consistent. Maybe her works won't reach the peaks of fiction personified, but you'll never read a bad manga by her unless you absolutely despise Yuris. Then, I mean, what are you going to do? But I feel like I will never read a bad manga by hers. Even her worst manga will still be, you know, pretty good. She's all reliable, and I've come to trust that no matter what I read of hers, I will enjoy it at least on some level, and so far that has remained true. Girlfriends, I would say, is my favourite work by her, but I also really remember enjoying Secret of the Princess, a small work, and I recently read Hana and Hina After School. It was also a super solid, just, all their series are just super solid and very...
Ding dong!
Moving on to number 3, we are getting into the heavy hitters. At number 3 we have Yoshihiro Togashi. You might have heard of him. Works of Togashi's that I've read include Hunter x Hunter, the ever popular Hunter x Hunter, and the also ever popular Yu Yu Hakusho. I sort of mentioned earlier that I probably wouldn't put a mangaka on here if I've only read one of their works. That probably wouldn't be enough to get them on this list. I wanted someone that I've read multiple stuff from, but I've kind of broken that rule here a little bit, to which you're probably thinking, Darcy, you just said you've read Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho. What are you talking about? That's, can you count? 1 + 1, 2... What the fuck are you talking about? Well. While I have read 2 of Togashi's works, I would have to say he is here predominantly because of Hunter x Hunter. If I had not read Yu Yu Hakusho, I think he would still be here in this spot, 3rd place, just for Hunter x Hunter and the incredible writing and storytelling of Hunter x Hunter. Perhaps a little controversial, but quite frankly, me personally, I wasn't a massive fan of Yu Yu Hakusho. I didn't hate it. I don't know, I was just like, I mean, it's okay. But if anything, reading Yu Yu Hakusho could have potentially negatively affected Togashi's ranking on this top mangaka list. It definitely didn't help his cause. Recently, and by recently it was probably already a couple of months ago, I was rereading a few of the latest volumes, getting ready for Hunter x Hunter's grand return that will be hopefully very soon. And it really just made me appreciate how good Togashi is at telling stories. Chapter, what is it? Oh my god. Insert chapter here. Oh, what a chapter. I'm rooting for Fugetsu. People shit on Togashi's artwork a lot. It's memed about and joked about, but it's really not as bad as people say for the majority of the time. And it can actually be really good at times. But it's really a testament, though, to his writing. That is really what carries him, I think, as a mangaka. Even those that don't hate his artwork would admit that his greatest asset is his ability to tell stories in a good way.
Ding dong!
Moving on to number 2. This guy could have very easily been number 1, but he's found himself in the number 2 spot. And I'm just realising now too, I've actually read the same amount of different series by him as I have by Milk Morgiana, so they're actually equal in those regards. But at number 2, we have the incredible Naoki Urasawa. Works of his that I've read include Monster, and 20th Century Boys / 21st Century Boys, and Sneeze, and Pluto, which is a retelling of an Astro Boy story arc. Works of his that I have not yet read include Movish and Billy Bat, and Asadora, which is coming out currently. I've definitely talked about my love for Urasawa's works on multiple occasions, so it's no surprise that he's very high up on this list. He is one of the greatest storytellers of all time, and he can wield such a complicated and long, spanning, compelling mystery that slowly unfolds and just keeps you captivated throughout. He has a very signature looking art style too that I quite enjoy. A little less of your typical anime big eyes, kawaii aesthetic, and a little more realistic looking is, I guess, the best way I could describe it. A true master at his craft. And if you were to look at anyone's top 10 favourite manga list, you would not be surprised to potentially see multiple Urasawa works in that list. It's quite a common thing. People like his mangas, and so do I. To be uber critical, I guess my biggest problem with Urasawa is sometimes he doesn't quite stick the landing as perfectly as you may hope for the ending, especially, you know, how much he builds it up, how greatly he builds up the tension and the suspense, and the master of the end of chapter cliffhangers that just keep you enthralled, and the way the story progresses, everything just is building and building and building, and just, it's so perfect. But sometimes the ending, you just expect him to go to that next level to cap it off perfectly, but he doesn't quite. I don't know, I mean, it's critical, I know. I mean, these are some of my favourite mangas of all time, and some of the endings are great, but just sometimes, maybe not, they could be a little bit better. He may just build himself up too much. He does too good of job early on that the end, he just can't. There's just no ending possible that can live up to the expectations he has built over the course of many, many, many volumes. A big thing with Urasawa is, similar to Milk Morgiani, is with Urasawa, he's super consistent. He's just solid. I am confident any Urasawa work that I read, I'm going to enjoy very much. So I think his consistency, though, the difference between Milk and Urasawa is that Urasawa's consistency is on, you know, a higher level to begin with than Milk. Milk's consistency, you know, down here, but Urasawa's consistency is up here. And in fact, when his peaks, he has peaks that peak to the best of the best. He's the other Old Reliable, just an even better Old Reliable. So that's why he's at number 2 and Milk's at number 4. The point is, bottom line, I really like Naoki Urasawa's works, and yeah, that's the point. Yeah, I think you got that. I think I already nailed that point home. Didn't need to reiterate it, but that kind of seems like a thing you do just to wrap up this little section. You reiterate, and then we say, now, let's move on to number 1. Who could it be?
Ding dong!
At number 1, we have Junji Ito. Not! did you think this was? The top 5 worst mangakas list? Anyway, let's get on to the real number 1. The actual number 1. My favourite mangaka of all time is Kihoko Azuma. Works of his that I've read include Azumanga Daioh and Yotsuba and Wallaby. I love Kihoko Azuma's works. Azumanga Daioh is damn near my favourite manga. I fucking love it. And Yotsuba is right up there too. It's another top 10 favourite manga. And Wallaby exists. Wallaby's like 6 chapters and they're super short chapters, and I'm pretty sure it was just cut. It doesn't even barely get into the story. It's like nothing. It doesn't even count really, but I've read it. But yeah, for the 2 actual main series that count that I've read of Kihoko Azuma, yeah, he's only got the 2, but it doesn't matter when those 2 are both nearly in my top 5 favourite manga, but both definitely in my top 10 favourite manga. We are talking about some great mangas that I enjoy to the fullest. Both are, comedy, slice of life. Azumanga Daioh is a 4-koma set in, the typical schoolgirl sort of setting, whereas Yotsuba is not a 4-koma, and it's set on a younger kid and her father and the wacky antics she gets up to. Both series are phenomenal. They're just, I think on top of all else, they're just funny. But they also create endearing characters that you can get attached to and go on a journey with, whether it's a journey for their 3 years of high school or it's Jotsuba's journey from a young child to a slightly older but still young child about to enter school. I don't even know what to say because I'm an idiot. Azuma, not as many different works, but the works that he has made that I have read are fucking phenomenal. And I'm sure if he were to stop making Yotsuba and start a brand new series, I'm sure it would be just as good. Unfortunately, I kind of doubt that'll happen. He's been making Yotsuba for a very long time now, and his work schedule has seemingly decreased a lot. He doesn't release many new chapters. Like, we'll be lucky if you get 2 or 3 new chapters a year. It does almost feel like Yotsuba could be winding down to a close with her getting close to, as I mentioned, getting close to starting school. That could be a good opportunity to end the manga with her going off on her first day of school with her backpack on, waving to her father as he sheds a tear. He also could just continue it. I mean, who fucking knows? But whenever he does end it, it wouldn't surprise me if he retires, so to speak. He doesn't make any new manga. But I don't know. The manga he has given us is some of my favourite mangas of all time. And that is why Kihoko Azuma is number 1 on my list. Just like Urasawa, Azuma is a true master of his craft. Just a very different style. While Urasawa has his dramatic epics, Azuma has his comedic slice-of-life masterpieces. But they are both just fantastic at what they do. Sorry I didn't have that much insightful information and things to say about why I really like them and what makes them good. I would have said more, but I'm kind of an idiot. So, that's just the way the cookie falls apart. Anyways, feel free to let me know how you feel about my list. Let me know if you think I'm a complete fucking moron. And let me know what your list would be. I would actually love to hear it. Stop ignoring me when I ask you to tell me what your favourite things are in the comments. That pretty much sums things up. So, thanks for watching, and as always, I'm not the kind of girl who gives up just like that.
It's just another Tuesday. Tuesday. And if you were in for a spell, wear a pulse to in order you can help them. Well, yeah. No.
Why am I talking?